Hey, here with Gridiron Football Media Day 2024. Here with Coach Saul from Franklinton High School. Coach, what's going on, baby?
Not much, Marcus. It's good to see you.
You too, Coach. Man, glad to have you here.
Thank you.
Look, man, we'll dive right into it. Tell us about some of the things you guys have been doing this summer, getting prepared for the season.
Well, this is the most 7-on-7s we've ever been into.
Okay.
So we kind of readjusted our weightlifting schedule. We would go Monday through Thursday and maybe hit a 7-on-7 every other week. But we started, again, going Monday through Thursday, but every Wednesday morning we would go throw with St. Paul's, and then we got into a couple of tournaments. I just think we needed it, really, Marcus, more from a defensive install than an offensive install. So we didn't go into it with any great expectations. I just wanted to see if we could play the coverages that we're going to play during the year, and I thought we did well. We got better as we went through it all, and got to see some good football players and some good 7-on-7 teams along the way. So I guess that was my biggest adjustment.
Now, we all know 7-on-7, that's just a drill.
Right.
It's just one period in practice, but I know it's been a lot of emphasis put on that over the years now, over the last couple of years, with all of the travel, 7-on-7, and all those different things too as well. But just like you just said, it is a good tool though for for quarterbacks and for defensive guys too, to learn how to communicate and be able to use that and be able to get better for the real 11 on 11.
For sure, it definitely is for us because we're a big split field coverage team. So when you start making your checks through formations and motions, there's really no way to duplicate that speed at practice. I mean, you'll go through your formation recognition periods and go through your man check periods, but to see it run at that kind of speed, you don't really have an opportunity other than your 7-on-7 period at practice. And we do a lot of team pass at practice.
Okay.
So it was good for us this summer to be able to see that at that speed and be able to check our coverages as it was happening.
Right.
So I enjoyed it a little bit.
Did you guys do spring? Tell us about spring.
Spring was good. Spring really went well. We went down to New Orleans and spring gamed against Newman, who is a really good football program. Nelson's got a great program. And you know what? We came out of that really feeling good about ourselves. It was a kind of a what and what type of scrimmage. We controlled it all the way through. Nelson and I had been friends for a long time. But to go against that level of competition, that ability level, was really good for us, and to know that we're able to play. And I told our kids after, we're not going to play anybody on our schedule unless we get to a Thanksgiving weekend game that's going to be better than what you just played in the spring, because they're really good. So we came out of spring, we got 9 really good practice days and a really long, tough spring game where we got to see a lot of different situations, and like I said, we felt good about ourselves coming out of that.
Good deal. I know that spring is also a time for you to see the new team.
Right.
You got seniors gone. Tell about some of the guys that may have stepped up that wasn't really in those roles last year, and then some of your key guys that you be counting on.
The biggest jump for us was our quarterback, Jacob Crane. Jacob started for our team last year, the first 3 games as a sophomore. I kind of got a philosophy about playing them sophomores. Everyone you put on the field, you're going to lose a game.
I've heard that before.
Many people believe that.
So I got the Woodlawn. I said, minute sophomores you play, that's a minute how many games.
And it kind of
expect the count to lose.
Right, it kind of went that way for us. But Jacob took a huge leap through spring and has continued through the summer. And I really believe, because of his physical size, Jacob is a rising junior, like I said. He's about 6'2", 175 pounds, but he's got a big arm. And he's very cerebral. He'll watch a lot of film. He understands coverage. Joe Burrow's his idol. Of course, when I tell him I met you today, Marcus, because he's a big LSU guy. But anyway, he was the guy for me that made the greatest jump from where we had him last year to having to bench him, 3 games in, to where he is now, which is the undisputed leader of our football team offensively. Another guy I was really, really proud of, who made a huge jump because he had to make a position change, is our Mike linebacker, Elisha Hart. Elisha was a nose guard last year. Lost a lot of weight. We stood him up, and that people think that that's easy, to take your hands off the ground and all of a sudden I'm going to be a better player at the second level. It is not an easy transition. He had a fantastic spring for us. He truly did. So those two guys, when I look at it, and also positionally, we needed those guys to be good. They had really good springs for us, and guys that we knew were going to be good really had excellent springs. The three guys I have here with me today, Avery Broomfield is our free safety. He was an in-the-box roll. We're a 3-3 stack team, so he was an in-the-box roll-down safety for us. I moved him to free. He's a basketball kid who plays against your best player. So if we were going to play, Newman in basketball, their best guy would have been guarded by Avery.
Right.
He's athletic, he's rangy. So we moved him back to the top of the defense, and he calls all of our coverages. He's had a really, really good summer and a good camp for us going through spring and in the 7-on-7s. And then Bo Webb, who plays our right offensive tackle for us, has had a dominant spring. And it was interesting to watch him go against Bordelon every day. Not every day, in the spring game.
Correct.
Those two guys really knocked each other around a little bit. So that was good for us to see. And then DJ Andrews plays our Sam linebacker, our strong side backer, and our stack. And he walks down a lot, so he's got to have a little bit of flexibility and explosiveness to him. Those three guys have been off the charts for us, so I'm excited to see him play. But there's a lot of guys I'm not mentioning that had really, really good camps and good summers.
Okay, tell us some of the things we'll see on Friday night scheme-wise, offensively, defensively. I heard you talk about the 3-3 stack, or maybe even being versatile, walking guys down, and just making it into a 4-man at times.
We're not overly traditional in our stack, and that we can sit there and play cover 3 or man free. Like I told you earlier, we are a lot of split field coverage, depending upon formation and is the ball in a hash or not, and what motions we get. Do you set strength into the boundary? So we're not traditional in that respect, but we will align out of the 3-3. But you're right. We'll be in more of a 4-down look, walking that backer down certainly than we were last year when the installs kind of slowed down because it was all new. Everybody was new last year. Offensively, Matt Hughes is our offensive coordinator. He peeked in here a little bit. We're in our run game, we're probably traditional in the standpoint that we're going to be in the gun, but we're more of a gap run team than we are a zone run team.
Gotcha.
I had our quarterback laughing the other day. I told him, I subscribe to the RPO page, and he said, "Really, Coach?" And I'm like, "Yeah, run power often." I still believe you win football games that way, Marcus. I think you win them up front. So our passing game is RPO based. We will give we do run some vertical game, but you have to prove to me that you can win games doing that before I completely sell out to it. We do have a very strong receiving core, so it'll be interesting to see what concepts we can run. But I think right now we're primarily going to be we're going to run the football and throw the play action stuff off of our run game.
So you talked about the power. Are we using a sniffer, or that's
we have a sniffer.
Okay.
We can run them both ways. We have an intriguing athlete who took over. He's an athlete, not a quarterback. A kid by the name of Connor McGee, he's an electric player. He really is. He's a kid that can win football games for you when everything else breaks down.
Right.
He's that type of player. So we do have packages for him at quarterback. He played quarterback for us last year, and I don't think he could throw the ball 20 yards, but he is dynamic with his feet, and he's very twitchy. So we do run power read with him, but we do have a sniffer. We're going to run old school power. We're going to kick it and wrap it.
Down. Cool.
And then counter's a big play for us. We'll run GT counter. We'll run GH counter. We'll run a double H counter. A lot of what Matt does that intrigues me, because I'm a defensive oriented guy, is formationally based. Like, he's going to try to get you uncomfortable through different formations and motions. And so, but the plays are all the same.
Yep.
Scheme, So
rules and all that stay the same.
So I enjoy watching him, work his craft.
Yep. Well, I know this is the second year. This the first year for the new cycle, schedule wise. Did you guys pick up any new teams, or how you went about scheduling?
We open up with a meet. We go a meet Covington Pine, and and Franklinton need to play. When we were talking about it, when Coach Bradley and I were talking about it, I've been lucky to coach in some big rivalry. I coached in what I consider the biggest high school rivalry in the state, Hornville-Destrehan.
Right. Okay.
So I told him, we need to, and I told him how that week goes and what goes into it, and it's going to be a big rivalry game, and we needed that. I don't think we had that at Franklinton. It had kind of gotten away because our program had slipped a little bit, and Salmon had got to be pretty good. But I remember when I was at EJ, and we were all in the same district, the district went through Franklinton and Salmon, and they had kind of created that rivalry when Shane Smith was the head coach and Jerry Leonard was the head coach at Salmon. So after Pine, we play Fountain Blue, who we've played traditionally over the last few years, and then we go to Jules Sumner, and then we open up district with Lakeshore, which we haven't beaten in 8 years. And I think that, with Salmon moving up, Lakeshore is kind of the bell cow of the district. Our bye week, I picked up Abbeville, and they have a good football program, but my thinking behind that was, if we're good enough to be a playoff team, you're eventually going to have to get on a bus and go somewhere. Whether it be on a charter or a cheese, you're going to make a travel somewhere. And I didn't want that to be in the first round of the state playoffs or the second round of the state playoffs. And so our kids will have that experience of going play a quarterfinal playoff team in Abbeville on the road. And then we come back, we go Pearl River, LaRange, Hannon, which is the back three, and they're all in our district. So I think we have the type of schedule we need. We got a couple of 5As. We have some really, really good triple A's, and then we take a long road trip, and then we play district. So I think that the schedule is what I need it to be.
Good deal, good deal. Tell about your admin and the support that they give you all.
They're phenomenal. Well, it's an anomaly these days to work for a guy like Shane Smith, who's been a college coach, he's been a state championship high school coach. And now he's the big cheese on campus. He's the principal. It's interesting because when he comes and talks with you, and I talk with him a lot, he's a friend of mine. You know that he knows what you're going through, and sometimes he wants to tell you what you're going through. But you can understand that because he's done it, and he's done it at his highest level. So he's great, and then our administrative team is incredible. Miss T.J. Landry and Miss Amanda Hall, who run our discipline and are in charge of our faculty, and then Miss Kelly Sandburn. I couldn't function without those three ladies, and they're all kind of athletic. They love Franklinton. They love sports.